Cool. Welcome, Gianna. Welcome, everybody, to this video. We're going to be talking about if you are struggling to manifest with your business, your online business specifically, what should you do? Gianna, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Cool. Do you want to share with us a little bit about your business, what it is that you do, what you offer, things
Yeah.
like this?
Yes, I am mostly, or as my foundation, I use human design, which is also partially based on astrology, but also a few other ancient systems. And it's backed by science through quantum physics, and it basically explains your energy and how it works. Your energetic blueprint is pretty much very similar to astrology. It's just a different language of explaining your energy to you as well. And I use hypnotherapy in my mentorship to help people deprogram subconscious disbeliefs. And I use the human design as a foundation to understand the energy of the person, to know how to work with that person specifically.
Fire. So, what is it that you are not manifesting in your business?
Just next level, more long time clients, pay in full clients. Um, yeah, it's really just about wanting to reach the next level with it and reach more people, basically.
Cool. Awesome. So, I just want to dive into your birth chart and pretty much answer those topics in a relationship to the new moon. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Fire, 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 fire. So, new moon is on January 11th, 111 portal. A super great day. Anyone who's watching this, and of course, Gianna, talking to you, I would start everything I'm going to advise early. Reason being, the earlier you start, the better. The more that you get in tune with what it is that you actually want to be offering to your high ticket clients, the more likely it is to happen. So, whenever I look at charts in general, the first thing that I'm immediately hoping to do is, and everyone comment, if you're here today, comment where you have Capricorn in your birth chart, which house is it in, 1 through 12. Everyone does have it in their birth chart because everyone has 12 houses. So Gianna, for example, has Capricorn here. It looks like this. It's this symbol, the V and the S shape. And then she has hers in the second house, which is the money house. So instead of writing down affirmations about how you want to make money, the more applicable, the more activation side of astrology would be, okay, cool. What is it that you want to see happen in your finances? So if you're looking for high ticket clients, what about Capricorn would actually bring that up? Well, two things. Capricorn is a leader, and Capricorn is focused on structure and manifesting. So if you wanted to get high ticket clients right now, you would need to work with leaders because that's what Capricorn is. And then also, what does that mean? Like, let's go down that rabbit hole for a second. If you want to get high ticket clients, people who are paying you more than a few $100s, you need to work with people who are doing the same thing or in the same industry or in the same realm. So instead of offering human design readings, we would help people manifest more money. We would work with business owners instead of everybody. We would work with entrepreneurs. We would work with people who can afford you, technically. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So in your bio, in your content, no more generalized content. We need to call out your avatar in your content and in your bio of your social media.
Okay.
And it needs to be explicitly clear because if you're pulling in love readings or if you're pulling in people who want help with their health, that's why. It's because we're not specifically calling out who you do want to work with.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that would be an immediate action that I would apply right now to activate this part of your birth chart. Second house is very, very, very good. I think the other day you were asking about, like, do you use whole signs, to use Placidus? I personally like to use Placidus when I'm reading, but just for more clarity's sake, I'm going to use whole sign so you can see how Capricorn is in your second house. So anytime you struggle with money, or anytime your business is not like accumulating the funds that you want on autopilot, it's because we aren't calling out leaders. For you to make the most stability happen with your second house, you need to work with leaders, because Capricorn is a leader.
Okay.
You need to work with people who have structure. So if you find that, you know, clients of yours in the past or currently are people who struggle with consistency, they struggle with planning, those are not your clients that you should want to work with. Because if they can't handle structure, if they can't handle things, like, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to work with them and help them with their transformation.
Okay.
So this new moon is highlighting, it's over your anti-vertex. So a new moon in astrology, if you're not manifesting, this is general, this is not just you, Gianna, but like, if you're not manifesting, it's because you're not being specific enough about the inputs and the outputs. So like what I said to Gianna earlier about, like, your content and your bio needs to be geared towards business owners, especially if you do want to go high ticket, because like Susie and Bobby from Canada probably can't afford a high ticket price for a transformation if they're working a 9-to-5 job that they hate, that they genuinely don't want to be working. But if you're working with like Tomas and Marielle, and they have businesses that are international and they just need help with energy work, this is a lot easier to say, okay, well, this price is going to be $3,000, $5,000, $10,000.
Yeah.
So it starts from a communication standpoint, and it's also, the second house has to do with values. So when you have Capricorn new moon, if you're not manifesting, it's because you're not using the new moons. And this is specific to everyone. New moon astrology is what helped me understand like how to be more specific about my manifestations. And the more specific you are about your vision and your values, the more likely it is to actually happen, as long as you release the outcome. So if you want high ticket clients and you're making content about how business owners can do this, or how, you know, entrepreneurs can do that, and how human design can help business owners not burn out, or how they can have more energy, or how they can find more, you know, happiness internally. These are things that people who have businesses want to hear. But if we're doing generalized content about gates, about planets, about energy, we're not pulling in the right people. It's like you got to have the right hook for the right fish. So if you want to pull in sharks and whales, you got to have a significantly larger hook than a hook for like a koi fish or for a regular fish, right? And that leads to my second thing, which is your hooks in your videos should be geared towards business owners, geared towards people who can afford you. And I would start early, because the new moon's on the 11th, but you have a 7-day window from now until the 11th. You do not need to wait until the new moon to start doing this. And I highly advise that you don't. I highly advise that you start making content for business owners, for entrepreneurs, for content creators that can afford you immediately, if you want to fix this immediately. So one of the key things that I do with my one-on-one clients is I have them go through a battle plan. The battle plan I have linked in the description. So a battle plan on how to make viral content. I use this document as a checklist, and I really just go through and make sure I touch on everything. So the first and most important thing is, do you have a hook? If you don't have a hook in your video is almost always going to fail. I have a client that I used to work with, used to post amazing content, never had a hook. Everyone scrolled past her shit because no one cared. The reason why a hook is important is because it lets people know what they're going to see next. It's kind of like when you go on a trip and you are, let's just say you're taking a train and you're going from a train to a plane and you land at your destination. It's having an itinerary. So you need to give people a straight up step-by-step layout of what's happening. Otherwise, they just don't want to stay. They don't want to be there. So telling people, like, if you have been struggling with managing your energy as a 6-figure business owner, this could be one of the 3 reasons why. That's a hook. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then now they know that the rest of the video is more than likely going to be about 3 or more ways to manage their energy as a 6-figure business owner. And you don't need to be a 6-figure business owner to help 6-figure business owners, for clarification. But Capricorn's second house, especially with a new moon going through, you do need to be very particular about like what your hook is and who it's for. So the topics I like to cover are life lessons, breakdowns, real-time info, trends, or manufactured ideas. A lot of my content is life lessons and manufactured ideas. So I'll say things like, this is how to manifest with your second house. A lot of astrologers don't talk about that because they don't bring manifestation and astrology into alignment. So it's manufactured, but it's also a life lesson. So that's how I'm able to give you a breakdown of how to manifest with your second house. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Sick. So I would start making more content that has to do with who you want to work with. And you need to say it in the video. Otherwise, no one on earth knows.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be spoken and typed in the video and in the caption. So type it on the screen, type it in the caption, say it out loud. All 3 to get the maximum value out of your communication.
Okay.
We on the same page?
Yeah,
Sick.
absolutely.
The other way that I see this doing really well, the best content that I've seen is the best way to pick topics is to do shit and talk about it. So if you do a chart reading for someone and they are like, okay, how do I figure this out? Talk about that in your content. And the hook would be, I read the chart of a entrepreneur and they asked me this question. And then you talk about what they asked you. Obviously, don't say their name if you don't need to. Don't bring up anything personal, but that's a very easy, attainable, low-hanging fruit piece of content that could help another business owner or an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
The more recent, the more relevant. You could even talk about celebrities who have human design charts that align with some of the things that you want to help with. Proximity is really cool. So if you want to talk about people that live near you, this is also really good content. If you want to talk about opposing ideas, so if you want to talk about how astrology is not as good as human design, that's really good content. Unusual content. So unusual meaning new ideas, things that don't make sense necessarily, and ongoing news. So you need to make sure especially with Instagram, if that's the platform you're on the most, that you make your videos for that specific platform.
Mm-hmm. So you would not recommend to have one video and post it on 2 different platforms, like let's say TikTok and Instagram?
No. The only reason, only a few people can pull that off. I personally will make a video on TikTok and then I'll save the video and post it on Instagram. But that's because my main platform is Instagram. I just like making videos in TikTok. Either way, like one of my videos that I posted just yesterday, I think it just broke 200,000 views. I use hooks in all my videos that I know my audience will react to. So that's how I'm able to get people to comment, engage, DM me, sign up for my stuff, is because I've done extensive research on my audience. I think during quarantine I read 400 charts for free. I have all of those recorded. Uh, Earlier last year, not last year, 2023, but 2022, I did like, I think almost 30 podcast interviews with people, and I recorded and took notes on all of the answers of the business owners that I wanted to work with. 2023, I did over 300 sales calls, and I have those recorded on my Zoom. I've studied them, analyzed them, had them transcribed, and I have a very clear idea of what my audience wants.
Mm-hmm.
So until you've done that level of research on your audience, it can be a little tricky to go from one platform to the next expecting similar results.
Makes sense.
So I would approach it from that. Like I said before, you have Capricorn in your second house. You just need to work with leaders.
Okay.
In whatever capacity that means to you. But I really want you to focus on like leaders who can afford you. Because right now I think you're talking to everyone, and that's causing what's happening.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you want to be a regular store, or do you want to be a luxury store? Luxury stores attract a different type of client. Make every single post aligned to the platform that you're using. So obviously vertical videos. One of the last posts that I saw you post, I think you typed like NR, like the number one reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what NR means, so it made it complicated for me right away. It'd be easier to do like a hashtag number, or like type out the word number, but like don't short words that need to be on the screen.
Okay.
So like NR, like I think that's more German.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. So just by doing that, you cut out like all your American people immediately. Because I saw that on my explore page and I don't know what NR is. But because I know you, I watched the video and I was like, oh, she meant number. So it'd be better to just do a hashtag one.
Okay.
And then don't try to be different in your content. It's actually what hurts a lot of people. You're already different. Your content should not be different. It's like, let's just say you drove for a living. The last thing you want is for your car to be different. You want your car to look nice, be nice, look clean, smell clean, act like a normal car. The reason why people give you a 5-star review as a driver is because you have a good personality, your car is clean, you get them from A to B at the time frame that you told them you would, not because your car is different.
Mm-hmm.
So don't make your content different.
Okay.
A lot of people try to make their content different, and that's like, there's no reason for it. You should make your content better, but not different. If you see someone's getting hundreds of thousands of views and you don't want to copy them, that is a massive internal block that has no reason to be there outside of wanting to be seen. But if someone's getting hundreds of thousands of views and they're getting seen, to not do what they do is you self-sabotaging.
Mm-hmm.
It's a choice. I highly recommend using the same font, the same color, and the same sounds as the top creators. So instead of using orange, use white. Especially if you notice everyone's using black and white, or if they're using black and yellow, don't use black and orange. use black and white, use black and yellow. If everyone's using captions that are easy to read, don't make yours black and green.
Yeah.
Literally avoid being different, because if you think about the top creators is like less than 1% of the world, which means that they are being different. So if you're trying to be different than the people who are getting results and being different, again, that's self-sabotage. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Sick. Any questions for me on chart part so far?
No, not really.
Any questions on the content, getting these people's attention? What should you change your offer to?
I guess what is blocking me here, which we were just saying, like self-sabotage in itself, I guess, is just that like so in your face selling myself is probably still a thing that is uncomfortable for me.
What do you mean?
It's just like, you know, like just creating content to sell, like being so upfront with it, being so in your face with that, I guess is feels icky.
Do you believe in what you're selling?
I do.
Then it's service. Service is selling.
Yeah.
If you don't genuinely think that what you're selling can help, that's where that icky feeling comes from.
Maybe I need to go deeper in that, because it does not feel to me, because I've seen how what I sell helps people and changes people. So like I really do feel like, I guess it's more the niche, the audience, the people that I have to sell to, because that is definitely something that I have not in depth thought about yet. Like when you were saying that I need to target business people or entrepreneur more than anybody else, because I think in my head it was still also like I want to help people, and usually these are people that have not yet reached a specific level. And I guess this is where I need to shift my thinking.
Well, yeah. So what happens is if you don't pick who you want to work with, they will pick you. And if you don't tell them the price, if you don't pick the person if you don't pick the type of person you want to work with, you will work with people that you don't want to work with. It's just like dating. If you actively choose to date someone who's not emotionally available, you will keep dating people who are narcissists. If you don't set that boundary with, okay, I want someone who's emotionally available, someone who can communicate their feelings, someone who knows what they want, you will attract people who don't know what they want, they can't communicate their feelings, and they don't know how to deal with yours.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. If you like, I'll go back into this analogy. If you want to be with someone who actually wants to work with you in your life, you need to attract that type of person by making sure that they qualify to even be that kind of person. Same thing in your business. If you want business partners, if you want people that you can, they already have a business, they already have a relationship, they already have a good health routine, you just want to help them with their energy, that's who you should call in.
Yeah.
But if you want to solve 10 things for somebody, you're going to attract those people for sure. Even me, last year, I told myself, I don't want to work with people who aren't already making content. So immediately in my intake form, if someone says, oh, I struggle with making content. If I go look at their account and they're not posting content, I don't want to get on the phone with you. There's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
You need to start making more content. If your content's bad and you're making content, I can work with you faster than I have to convince you to make content for your business. What? For what? That's a waste of my time.
Yeah.
Why should I convince you to make money? You should already be in that frame of mind. So I would set yourself up for success by saying, my customers already do this, this, and this. They just need help with this one thing or this second thing. They just need help with their energy. They just need help with their routine. They just need help expressing themselves. They already do these things, but they just need help with this one thing. Because you can't, as a coach, you cannot solve your clients' problems. You can only facilitate them solving their own problems. I've had clients of mine tell me that they didn't get results, and I was like, okay, you did not do the things that would help you get the results. I tell people, everyone who enters my program, I tell them the recommended amount of posts is 4 to 6 posts a day. They're like, damn, that's a lot. And I'm like, that's why I send you a trends list. That's why I post 4 to 6 times a day myself. That's why I give you a hook. That's why I give you battle plan. I give you all these things so that it becomes easier to do. Because by posting 4 to 6 times a day, do you become a better content creator or a worse content creator? You become a better content creator. So when people come to me and they say, oh, this and that, I'm like, okay, well, you're not doing the exercise. Just like an athlete. If you're an athlete for a sports team and you're not doing the exercises that would get you the points or get the team the outcome that the team needs, that's your fault. So don't work with people who aren't willing to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Don't. And also be the person who practices. I don't tell my clients to do anything that I'm not doing.
Yeah.
I've had clients from the past come and tell me, you can't copy and paste and sell that to people. What is everyone doing? By the way, this person's making $0 in their business telling me what I can and can't do in my business. Every artist steals. To copy and paste, like I'm staying at a villa. If I look across the street, that villa looks just like this villa, but different. It's a copy and paste. If I look down the road, that villa has one more floor than this villa. It's a copy and paste. Copy and paste what works for you to make your business work. And if you feel like you need to shift, the only way to shift is by making action. There's no shifting. You can't shift in your head first. It doesn't work. I've tried it. There's no amount of learning. There's no amount of like mindset. There's no amount of meditation. There's no amount of hypnosis that will, if you just do the thing 100 times, you will shift faster while talking to yourself about how it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, of course.
The first time I started making content about my free class, I had to go from making funny, relatable content to I'm having a class. It was so uncomfortable because I was so used to people laughing, commenting, sharing my stuff. And then I transitioned from that to I have a class. It's a free class. It was uncomfortable. My views went from like hundreds of thousands to like thousands. And I immediately told my coach, like, this is not working. It was working. I just didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
So fastest shift you can make is making content that other people make that works. There's not too many human design people that are going viral. You have a blue ocean is what it's called. meaning you have all the space in the world. If you don't take up that space, someone will.
Yeah.
If you don't sell to people who need human design, I promise you in the next 3 months to 6 months, I will attract another human design person. They'll see my free content. They'll use what I'm giving to you and they'll do it. I'd rather it be you.
Appreciate it.
But it's a choice. Being in people's face and selling them shit, if you don't do it, they're going to go somewhere else and get someone else to do it. And they're probably going to get a shittier person with a shittier modality to help them. And they probably won't even get the help that they need.
Yeah.
So the mindset shift that I've used around that is 5 deep breaths in and out. I'm the right person for this. If I have to do that before every video, I do it before every video. If I have to do that in the morning, if I have to do that before a sales call, 5 deep breaths in and out, I'm the right person.
Okay. I hear you.
Because if you're not, the universe is going to pass the torch to someone else who is. Who maybe they aren't the right person, but they think they are, so they will become.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. 100%. I was just talking about the concept of ideas or inspiration that is coming in with a friend the other day. That when you were sparked with an idea or you're inspired by something and not immediately, putting action behind it, it's almost like an entity that will go to someone else that is willing to do so.
Yes.
Because the idea wants to be out there because it's time. Otherwise, it wouldn't have come to you.
Yes.
Yeah. Same concept.
Correct. So I would take advantage of that today or when you get a chance.
Mm-hmm. I will. Thank you.
Cool. Anything else about selling or marketing?
I guess not in that moment. I can imagine something will come up when I'm actually getting into it. But right now, nothing comes up.
Visualize yourself doing it so that you can ask the question. Eyes closed is usually how we do visualization.
Something is coming up already. Like, give me a second. I guess because you were saying earlier, I don't have to be making 6 figures in order to help someone that is making 6 figures. I guess where I'm struggling with that is, how do I know what the person that does 6 figures need if I'm not in their shoes,
Great question. So I just shifted my offer to help creators and co-creators. Before I was a content creator, I used to help content creators build their business on social media because I was just consuming so much content on social media. How did I know what they needed help with? I asked them. Some of them were friends. Some of them were people that I met. Like, okay, cool. You make 6 figures. Are you happy? Do you feel like you're doing what you're supposed to do? You can even go as far as like ask ChatGPT, like, what do 6-figure earners struggle with? Getting to 7 figures. Like, what do 6-figure earners want most? Relationships. With who? Friends, people that they can actually get along with. Starting a community of 6-figure people. You don't need to be a 6-figure. Like, for example, you don't need to be Black to help Black people. You don't need to be a man to help men.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to be Indonesian to speak Indonesian. Right? So
Yeah.
figure out what problem you know how to solve for that specific person, and you'll be fine. And if you don't know what they need help with, just ask them. Go on Quora.com and type in 6-figure earner problems. If you even go on Google and type in problems 6-figure earners have, problems entrepreneurs have, the internet is filled with 6-figure earners complaining about something. It will take you 30 seconds, probably less. You can go on ChatGPT and ask. It will probably take just a few moments. If you want to work with entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
which are the people that can afford high ticket without, pulling an arm and a leg off of them. Capricorn demands that you work with people who have a reputation. Your second house is a reputation. Holy crap. Why are you yellow? Get away from me. The spider's black and yellow. I'm not trying to deal with it. And he was just on my arm, like, bye. I don't want to be Spider-Man yet, bro. So the buildings aren't tall enough here. So I wouldn't last too long as a superhero. So yeah, making sure that you just study. Like I think I said extensively too, like study who you want to help. What do 6-figure earners struggle with? What do online business owners struggle with? What do women in business struggle with? And then use human design and somatic breath work and hypnosis to solve that problem. But if you try to say, oh, I have all these tools and I can help you, it doesn't make sense. It's like going to a surgeon. It's like saying you're a surgeon and saying, I have a scalpel, I have a vacuum, and I have a table. Who needs help? No one's going to come to you. But if you're like, I'm a brain surgeon and I can help you with not having blood flow problems to your brain, all the people who struggle with blood flow problems to their brain will come to you. That's a better way to market yourself than, hey, I have a knife and I have a vacuum and I have a table. Does anyone need help?
Yeah.
Don't do that, because that's what you're doing. When people ask me what I do, I say I help creators and co-creators monetize online. I don't say astrology. I don't bring up. They ask me, "Oh, do you do social media? Do you run an agency or are you a manager?" No, I'm not a fucking social media manager. I would have said that if that's what I was. Not that. I help creators and co-creators monetize. If you have a following, if you don't have a following, I can help you.
Yeah.
So do not lead with your modality. Do not lead with your tools, because no one cares. When you go to a grocery store, why do you go to the grocery store? Because they have food, drinks, toiletries, and things like this. You might go in wanting a pineapple, but then you end up getting apples. You end up getting a toothbrush, like another toothbrush. You end up getting all these things because they have them inside, but the front of the store doesn't say toothbrush store, pineapple store. No, we have all these things come inside. What you need, we have it for you. Run your business like a store, because it is a store. When people come to you, they should know that you help people take the next step in their business with relationships, with health, with wealth, something. And then when they get inside, then you say, okay, cool. Today we're going to use human design. I need your birth chart information. But if you start telling people about gates and they've never even driven over a bridge yet, it's hard for them.
Yeah.
And in your content, you need to keep it you need to keep it at a 5th grade level. Because if it's not, next post.
Yeah.
That's why all my like, I'm not trying to brag, but like the video that did 200K just yesterday, it says here, when someone explains your moon sign shows how you attract love from men, customers, and intuitively. 5th grade, that's a 5th grade reading level. 200,000 views. Because it's so simple. But if I had said like houses or degrees or aspects or anything that is like not super easy to understand, that post would have done like 1,000 views. Right now, there are people in the comment section talking about their moon sign with other people who have the same moon sign, and they're collaborating. They're talking about, oh, girl, I'm a Leo moon. I need a guy who's this and that. She's like, same girl. Like, they're in the video is just playing in the background. And people are in their in the comments talking to each other because the post is so simple. Do not talk about gates. Do not talk about, I would maybe talk about planets, but generally. And the other reason why I talk about the moon is because the moon is like sun, moon, and rising. If you don't know that in astrology, like that's like the preliminary stuff. That's like elementary stuff. So that's why I talk about sun, moon, and rising stuff, because it's easy and attainable. It's digestible. People, you don't need to know your whole birth chart to know your sun, moon, rising.
Yeah.
Rarely do you see me talk about Pluto. Rarely do you see me talk about North Node. Rarely do you see me talk about part of fortune and all these deep ass asteroids. I could, but who would it help? No one, because they don't know it. So don't talk about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Make it easy. Leave me alone, bro. Please. I already told you. I don't want to talk. He's standing there. I'm leaving. You can have the table, bro.
I just had a Scorpio running around in my villa a couple of days ago, so I feel you. Baby coming out now.
Yeah, you own this place now. Like, this is your house at this point. Okay. So yeah, dumb everything down. Can't emphasize that enough. And invite people to come to your free events or download your free things. If you can't sell free, don't sell anything. And the other piece is, you don't have to be the content creator if you're not into it. I've noticed with my clients, a lot of them want to be the content creator. In reality, they need to be the co-creator, which is someone who helps the person who's in front. And yeah, I understand you're a Leo, but like, I know some Leos that they just work better behind the scenes. Like, some people just do. And when you need to be in front of the scenes, it just needs to be for the people that you want to help. I don't like being on camera, but because I've practiced it a lot, it's better that I am. I prefer to help people be in front. Why do you think the advice I'm giving you is advice I would be giving you 7 years ago? But I just got really good at it through practice because quarantine forced me to. And then now I make videos low effort and they go viral, and I'm just giving you the strategies. Literally, this is what I think in my head. Like, will people be able to understand this? Because if you understand it, that's not good. If they understand it, that's the point.
Yeah.
It's not about you. Your content isn't for you, especially if you're running a business. Imagine you went to a vegan restaurant and you asked for gluten-free pizza and you asked for like certain types of vegetables, and then they bring you out a meat lover's deep dish cheese-filled pizza. You'd be pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's exactly what you're doing in your content, is you're making content for you that they did not ask for.
Okay.
So don't do that. The only reason that video did well, again, I know majority of my audience is women. So why do I bring up the moon sign? Your moon sign shows you what kind of men you attract. That's why I put it in the post, because I know 87% of my audience is women. I could say for women, but that would only help 10% of my audience, and that's not my goal. Cook the food for the person eating it, not for yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Manifestation, especially when you're manifesting something external, can only happen if you're doing the inputs, and then through the inputs you become more clear on what those inputs should actually be. So like right now you have Mars heading towards your second house, you have Moon and Sun all heading towards your second house. If you implement even half of what I said here, I think you will see a massive shift in who's showing up to your sales calls.
Okay.
And if you don't want to sell, if you don't sell your free sales calls, that's something you should do. In all my videos, I tell people to comment, DM me, follow, sign up for this. My next set of videos, I'm going to be telling people to do a specific thing. If you don't tell people what to do at the end or even the middle of your video, that's not helping.
I mean, I usually do that. Like I put it in the caption and I also say it when I actually make a video where I talk. But I could be doing it more for sure.
Pluto's in your third house. You should be doing more talking videos. Not like long ass 2-minute, 3-minute, 5-minute videos. Don't do that. Just like, these are the 3 ways to manifest faster with your birth chart. And cool thing is if you say birth chart, you can mean astrology or human design. And then you have to talk to people like they're in 5th grade. There's something called a gate, and a gate does this. Because most people who come to your page will have no clue. I have people who've been following me for 3-4 years. They didn't know anything about astrology before coming to my page, but because I talked about their zodiac sign, they felt called to follow me. And then they started learning, oh, there's planets, oh, there's houses, oh, there's this and that. I have people who've been following me for like 3 years who are like, I don't follow any other astrologer. And I'm like, why do you follow me? They're like, oh, because I just like the way you do your content. And I'm like, it's because I make my content hella simple. Don't confuse people. Because if people understand human design, why would they come to you anyways?
True.
The only time I would talk to astrologers like astrologers is if I wanted to coach astrologers. And then I would be like, okay, the reason why you're not getting birth chart readings is because of this and this and this. Then it would make sense for me to talk to them like that, like full on talking that language.
Yeah.
But for clients who don't know human design, don't put them in a position to have to learn it, because the more questions people have, the less likely they're in a buying mode. And that's not the goal. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, I think you gave me a lot of homework.
No homework, action steps.
I mean, feels like homework, but okay, I hear you.
Cool. Well, was this helpful?
It was. Thank you. I made a lot of notes.
Sick. And if you want to come over and execute on that with the team, with the homies, that'd be helpful. You can
Sure.
you can meet my buddy. Him and his girl just got here, so
Okay.
it'd be good to. They're both creators as well, so it'd be good for you. Hey,
Nice.
Jan, do you have any last questions on how to use this new moon?
You're asking me, or you're asking the audience?
You're the audience.
I'm the audience. No, I think you made it pretty clear. Like I just really need to shift on to niching, basically, and like getting more clear about who I want to attract specifically, and then target around that and talk to these people specifically.
Yeah.
So, like like you said, like leaders, people with a reputation, like going more towards. So what in my head, it's just I'm shifting now more to okay, like because before that, because of what I offer with hypnotherapy and human design, it is literally beneficial to everyone, and this is how how I try to target it, or how I try to sell it, which obviously more and more makes sense to me that I have to go more into a niche, like obviously also specifically with what you are now saying. So I will more shift towards like maybe really going into okay, like the problem solving of these people and getting clear on, is it entrepreneurs that I want to attract, or is it maybe artists that I want to attract, because I used to work with artists together. That is also something that came up for me more and more, and that is something that would be beneficial.
So with that, I'll be super clear with you again. Artists typically don't have money.
I mean,
Typically.
I mean, I would try to obviously like do not target them, but I hear you. But like, it's the same thing. But there are also a lot of entrepreneurs that don't have money, right? Like, I think I have to like just like be more precise in general than anyways, right?
So the way I've framed it before is like my highest cash month, who I was targeting was entrepreneurs who are doing 6 figures already, or who want to get to 6 figures, meaning that they're at 5.
Yeah.
If you work with artists, do you want to work with the artist who has 1,000 listeners, 100,000 listeners, 1 million listeners? you can be specific about what kind of artist. Do you want to
Yeah.
work with independent artists? Do you want to work with like artists who have labels? You can pick who, because they're very different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to work with artists who already have albums out, who already have a catalog built, or artists who have money and they can't even finish a fucking song?
Hmm.
So you can be super specific. I was taught by my coaches, try to pick people who have expenses aligned with their business. So like right now, I want to work with people who are creators and co-creators, meaning if you're a co-creator, you don't have a platform, you like a certain topic, so you just need to find a content creator who does what you like, and then you help them build a paid community. So it's easier. So I can still monetize off of that.
Hmm.
And my link in my bio, the first line is I help creators and content creators monetize. There was a point in time where I help people monetize to 6 figures, and I would attract 5-figure earners. If I wanted to help people monetize to 7 figures, I would attract 6-figure earners.
Hmm.
There was a gym owner that I used to work with. We made him target, you have to have a gym. Like you can't be a personal trainer, you have to have a gym. What does that mean? It means that he has to pay the bills for the gym, which means he has extra money.
Hmm.
Or you could even target like you have to have a personal assistant, which means that they have enough money, they're making enough money to pay their employees.
Yeah.
So there's little nuances that you can choose for who you want to help that will tell you that this person can afford you. Does that make sense?
Hmm. Because
Does that clarify who you're going to work with?
I think I still have to get clear on that, but like, yes, like it makes sense the way you lay it out. Absolutely.
Okay, so what's your idea then before we hop off? Because the goal is to clarify this, because you doing it by yourself is not working, which is why I'm trying to do it with you right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think I just really have to go have a moment to go within. I don't think that I will, be able to do that in the next 5 minutes. So like, I really want to go deep into that and understand who do I want to work with.
This is not a deep thing. We're just practicing. It's not who you're going to work with forever. You're not marrying this person or these group of people. It's just for the exercise. Literally, it's just for the practice. You doing it by yourself is not working, which is why I'm not letting you do that.
Okay. Well,
so let's just practice.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like for me, it's like I would like to check my following first and see, okay, who's there. I would like to see like go through like the clients that I used to have and see like, okay, where does that align with what made me feel?
Which clients do you want to work with?
Yeah, and I want to get clear on that by looking at people that I work with that made me feel good and check like that made me feel like, oh, that actually aligned with me, So like because nothing comes up when you ask me that question. So I think I need to go a little bit deeper than that.
So which clients were the easiest to work with in the last 3 years?
Clients that were older, not always, but most of them, because it feels like that they were more determined to do the work. They were more into, maybe because of, I don't know, fear of running out of time, or I don't know what exactly it was for each person, but like when I look into the clients, it was usually like people plus 40.
So let's write down mature under your clients list. Let's write down mature. Which clients did you get the best results for?
Mm, people that actually did the work, which also includes like younger ones, but like the ones that actually listened to what I was saying and implemented that, which obviously makes sense, which was not just the mature ones.
So what was the work?
What was what?
What is that work?
Um, well, I give homework, and that mentorship specifically, which I want to target more, is like a long-term commitment, and people get homework and have to actually implement specific things and listen to the hypnosis recordings, and then some journal prompts and stuff, and like homework.
Okay, so what I need you to write down is mature, ready to implement, student, you don't need to go deep into your psyche to do this work. This is easy stuff. It's really uncomplicated. I don't know if you can tell. I uncomplicate everything for myself because life shouldn't be hard. It's just not fun that way. So who do you get the best results for? Who's the easiest to work with? Who do you enjoy working with? Do you like working with creatives? Do you like working with business people? Do you like working with people like you? Write that down. And it should be a moderate long list, like no more than 10. 7 to 10 is a good range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. People, do you want to work with people who are ready to invest in themselves or people who are not ready? You don't need to go deep on that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, definitely ready to invest. I mean,
okay, cool. Sounds good. Yeah, that's an easy one. Do you like people who are problem solvers or people who like to complain?
or people who like to what?
Problem solvers? Do you like working with problem solvers or people who complain about everything?
Problem solvers.
Yeah. So this is your avatar that we're building out.
Okay.
So these are the types of people that you should call in with your content, with your offer. People who are ready for transformation, people who are ready for results, people who want to implement a strategy that is ready, people who are willing to do the work. And then when you get on your sales calls or when you get into your longer content, I make sure in my content now, I tell people, if you're not ready to invest, this won't be for you. Why? Why do I do that?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want you to show up to a sales call and say, I'm still thinking about things. I don't want that. I want
Yeah.
people who get on sales calls with me to be like, I'm ready. I've been wanting to do this. I know I need to make this change.
Yeah. That is the most frustrating part.
But it's frustrating because you don't have standards in your dating life. That's the analogy, which is your business. So if you push away everyone who's not ready, you will only bring in the people who are ready.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
You should also write down committed to change. Because what's the
Right.
opposite of that? People who are committed to stagnancy.
Yeah. I wrote down open to change, but I'm going to change it to committed.
Yes, we need a commitment. Because not only are you signing up, not only are they signing up to work with you, but they're committing to completing the program. Do you want people
Yeah.
who complete your program or people who just pay you and leave? Because I've had that. I've had people pay me thousands of dollars and disappear. It's weird.
I had that one person before as well.
I've had like 5 or 6 of those people last year. It was weird. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
That is weird.
But because they weren't committed to doing the work, because I didn't ask them to be. So it's my fault.
Yep, makes sense.
So now you have your avatar. You really don't need to do shadow work over this. Like, swear to God, it's not that serious. It's just, what do you want? What do you don't want? Like, not complicated. So that's how we use. That's how we figure this out. Really, the next step is just make content for those types of people. So just say, hey, I'm looking for 5 people who are ready to do, and then you go down that list that you just made. Do not talk about human design because you don't need to. Don't talk about, oh, I have a scalpel, I have a table, I have a vacuum to pull your blood. No, don't do that. Just tell people, I have this thing that will solve this problem for you if you are this type of person. And you need to say that for the next 3 months. Because if that's the type of person you want to work with, that type of person will be able to afford whatever you're doing. Painfully clear. I'm hoping to.
Yes.
I do follow a manifester page on Instagram. She specifically talks to manifestors.
Mm-hmm.
All her content's about manifestors. All her memes are about manifestors. All her offers are for manifestors. All her encouragement is for manifestors. She doesn't talk to anyone else because she's a manifester, so she gets it.
Mm. Yeah, I've been thinking about that, to do that as well.
Less thinking.
I think I wanted to. Yeah, I think I just wanted to be more inclusive, and that's what kept me from doing it.
Don't be inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
You're running a business. Don't be inclusive. Push away who you don't want to work with. If you don't want to work with projectors, don't work with projectors. Right?
That's not the case. I love projectors. Amazing, but I hear you.
And if you want to work with them, work with them. But if you're still thinking about it and it's been like more than 3 months, you're not thinking anymore, you're just not making a choice, and that's worse.
Yeah. Maybe like it's not like I didn't really like I've been thinking about it was not the right way of saying that. It came up that I thought about just niching down on, I'm a manifesting generator in human design, to niche down on manifesting generators. But then it got pretty clear to me that that's not what I want to do, because I like also working with projectors, because specifically the relationship between manifesting generators and projectors can be very beneficial on both sides. And there's just with every other.
Well, then you can just add them to your list.
Yeah. I mean, I like every sign, so it's. But yeah, I hear you. I'm gonna find my niche.
You need to, push them away or include them. Just make a decision quickly, because the more time it takes, the more time you're wasting.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the reoccurring traits that I've seen with people that I've seen have a lot of success in business, they just make a decision quickly. Like my coaches, or when I used to work at Lexus, I used to work with people who were making 7 figures minimum. When we would go out to dinner with the sales team, they had their dinner picked out within 15 seconds.
Okay.
They would order their food and they would start texting people that they wanted to come buy cars so that they could pay for the dinner. Okay. And that's you should be making decisions way faster, because that you're going to attract people who make decisions quickly. You ever been on a hour-long phone call with someone and they're like, oh, I need to think about it, even though they've had 7 years to think about it? If you are that person, if you're that person, you're going to attract that person.
Yeah.
Stop being that person if you want to stop attracting that person. Thinking doesn't help you. Making decisions helps you. If you want to work with all the archetypes, include them in your content. Talk about each of them in your content. If you need 4 posts a day, you should be able to belt off manifestors, manifesting generator, projector, reflector. You should be making 1 piece of content for each of them a day, and that's 4 pieces of content a day.
Yeah.
Easy. This is how I was able to knock out 12 pieces of content a day once upon a time. So I just go through each of the zodiac signs and say what's going to happen for this week or this month. And it would take me like 1 minute. It was easy.
Yeah.
Because I already knew what to tell them. Your content's planned, your offer's planned, your avatar's planned. This is how you manifest with the new moon. Took a whole hour. Not too bad.
1 hour 11. Perfect for that date, for the new moon.
Exactly. So I'm going to end it here unless you have another question.
No, I don't. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Have a good one. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Peace.
Bye.